Hey everyone, I just wanted to give a big recommendation for this Silky Zubat 300 here as a bushcrafting survival alternative to the folding Silky saws or the Bahco saw. But this thing is absolutely amazing. The Silky saws, at least this one, it cuts only on the pull stroke, so it takes a little bit to get used to that, but because of that, it keeps the blade from binding and bending. This one I've had for years and used it for all kinds of tasks, pruning the fruit trees and landscaping tasks of all variety, and cutting down thigh-sized trees, all different kinds. Today we were cutting some cedar logs, I'll show you here in just a minute, but really huge diameter, especially for a folding saw. And if I didn't have this one, I wouldn't have even attempted that. So anyway, I'll just give you a little example because it helps just seeing people use it. But the ergonomics of the handle here, it reminds me of some of my favorite knives, the Bussy Combat Ergo Badger Attack, for example, or some other ones. But just the shape of that just fits well, especially with the pull stroke. It naturally gives you downward pressure the way they designed it. It does have replaceable blades. This one's about $60, and I think the blades, like many saws, are almost the whole expense of the saw itself. So I haven't had to replace a blade yet. I've had this one for so long that I'm sure I could use a new one, but it's still cutting well enough for me. Like I said, we cut some big diameter cedar, and this is a hardwood maple that we're getting ready to burn in the shelter. So just see how easy this cut. It's just almost effortless, really, and fast going through. And the saw blade doesn't tend to bind once you get to know it. You just kind of let gravity do its thing. It really doesn't use that much energy and just cuts right through. That's pretty, it's pretty hard stuff, and cuts it really well. So I just wanted to put that out there. The only downsides, I think, really about this saw compared to like a Bahco, it's not designed for cutting bone, the teeth pattern and stuff. And I think also, since it doesn't fold, it comes with a sheath I'll show you, which combined I think probably weighs a little bit more, but the saw itself is ultra lightweight. So I'll show you here in just a second and compare it directly to the Bahco. Okay. So, sheath. Here's the sheath for this guy. Pretty nice sheath, actually. It's got these little rollers in there that guide the blade in so the teeth don't rub, and it has a positive lock, just like a Kydex sheath for a knife or a gun. And it's actually, the sheath itself isn't that heavy. So here's the Bahco, which everyone pretty much knows, and it's about 25 bucks I think right now. This one's gotten some good use on it, but not nearly as much as the Silky. Let me take it back out of here. And the Silky does have a longer blade, but I think the weight is similar, even though the Silky blade is a little bit thicker and definitely longer. If you look, I can't remember, this comes in a few different lengths. Like I said, this is the 300, so I'm not sure what that equates to, but it looks like about a 12-inch or 13-inch blade. And see that curvature it allows on that pull stroke also to just eat into the wood so much faster. And the handle ergonomics are much better for cutting wood. We built most of this shelter with just this and a knife, just the Silky Zubat and a knife. like I said, the downside is that it doesn't fold, so you need to either tuck it on the side of a pack or put it inside, or hang it on a belt or something, lash it to something. It's got plenty of options. I think it's made for arborists a lot too, so they'll strap it onto their leg and just have real good quick access to it. But I'll show you these. We've been making bowls today, which is a different little subject, but that's what made me want to do a little review of that, because I cut through a piece of this cedar, which is huge. And you know, cedar wood is pretty dense, hard stuff, and I wouldn't have tried that at all with this Bahco. Honestly, I would have carried this thing back to where I could have had a chainsaw or where I had the Zubat. And it did take a couple of minutes, but it wasn't that difficult, you know, just a nice, slow, steady thing. But the Zubat, and I should have showed that, but that's what gave me the idea to do this video. And the reason why I like to do these videos is just to help you decide and make choices, educated choices. And no one gives me any of these things, and anything that I would ever put on a video for you, I've been used and abused. Well, not abused. I take good care of my stuff, but it's been well used and thoroughly tested, you could say, in a numerous different environments. And that's why I feel confident about sharing something and recommending it to you. So I appreciate it, and hopefully this helps you at least consider this. Like I said, this was about 65 bucks, and this one 25 bucks. But in the amount of hours, if you cut a lot of wood or have heated shelters or tent systems or something, and you're carrying a saw for shelter building or wood processing, the Zubat is by far superior. It'll save you that amount of energy and that amount of time per hour, and that money. You'll just kind of not think about the Bahco anymore, unless you're cutting through deer hindquarter, tendon, leg, joints, or something involving bone, which we don't do that, honestly. So the Zubat, I think, is far superior in every way. So highly recommended.